we have Michael, him from Michigan. You have some questions for us, it sounds like. Michael, you're here with Christy and SR. How are you?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Oh, great, man. What do you got for us today? What are your questions? What are your thoughts?
I guess I just, I've heard I heard a lot of the videos from your guys' channel and the other Atheist Community of Austin channels. And, I think you've given us a lot of tools, and we got a pretty full toolbox. But I guess we don't hear a lot about how to implement them. Like, how do you take it to the streets in a way that, like, you see Christians do, or people that are theists do, where they're putting up billboards and they're putting up things like that to try to convince people to come to their churches. Yeah. So I guess just your thoughts on that.
Yeah, Christy, what do you think on that, man?
Yeah, I mean, look, there are atheist billboards. There are, I don't want to say atheist evangelists, but I mean, there are people like you and I who like make a point of trying to spread this news and information, and that's valid. And get involved if you want to get involved. Get involved with the Atheist Community of Austin if you like. Even as far away as Michigan, there are all kinds of volunteer opportunities with this organization and tons of other great, online-oriented, global reach type of groups. But honestly, sincerely, my best answer as just a human person is don't worry about trying to spread the atheistic worldview. Worry about trying to make the world a better place in a way that feels right or relevant to you. What are you good at? What are you passionate about? How can you give back to your community locally as well as just your human community as a person? And, doing so guided by skepticism, by secular humanism, by these values and these ideals that, we work here to promote. Is that all fair to say?
Yeah, I think a lot of that's really good. And I think, one thing that we often overlook is especially when, we are in the minority, as is the case a lot of places, right? I'm in Tennessee, church every freaking corner for sure. I think one of the most valuable things we can do is just that old awesome quote of, be the change you want to see in the world, right? Make sure that you are constantly, being that good representative, because I think so often that is one of the things that really can change people from a really hardcore bigoted stance is when they meet somebody for the first time and they go, oh my gosh, I've never met a bisexual person before. You're actually normal. You're actually cool.
like a person,
like a human. Yeah. How weird is that, right? And it's like sometimes just being able to, be just you and just, hey, I see you got some groceries. Let me help you take them to your car, or, hey, you got a flat tire, or you need an extra $1. Just sometimes little things like that can really go a long way. But also, Michael, you always can set up a group too, right? There's always the possibility that you say, let's start a little Facebook group, maybe just have a couple people gather at the back of a coffee shop or something, If I remember correctly, that's how Recovering from Religion started. Or was it the Secular Therapy Project? It was something small where there was just like 3 people getting together at a coffee shop for a couple of weeks, and next thing you know, it's this massive, awesome organization.
Yeah, no, I know that's a big part of the ACA's backstory. And yeah, it really is just about meeting like-minded people and coming together over a mission. So Michael, I don't know how any of that lands for you, but I really would encourage you to be at your local animal center or food bank, or working to help unionize or racial injustice. It doesn't necessarily need to be atheism to be atheism, to be valuable in that sense. How does that land for you?
Yeah, no, I know that all sounds good, and I do try to support those things that I care about. It's just I do feel like we're dealing with a lot of indoctrination and kind of cult mentality when you talk to these people, or you say something negative about Christianity, I think even just the simple fact that they worship Jesus, a man, has a lot to do with the toxic masculinity in this country. So it's like but when you say anything about that to a Christian, they think you're taking it as a personal attack against them because it's their identity. That's what they believe. So I just don't know how to get around that part of it.
That definitely can be tough, Michael. And kind of like Christy was saying earlier on, that navigating that space where you can have that disagreement and not get everybody, their defenses up so quickly, right? And especially so hard too, because sometimes we get our defenses up really quickly, but they're not like firm. And so when we see that the other person is actually engaging with us honestly, we kind of bring those back down a little. I think one really, really big thing is always to let the other person know that you care about them, right? And that you're not in this moment to try to it's not a gotcha moment. Like, it's not, oh, I want to make you look stupid,
Right.
There is a phenomenal guy who's been doing stuff like this in the skeptical and atheist kind of space for whatever. He just came out with a book not super long ago, David McCraney. So I think it's called like How to Change Minds or something, and it's just this beautiful psychological travel through kind of how people change their perspectives in general and what's a better way maybe to communicate. And that's always really important, is to know what your goal is when going into these conversations. If your goal really is to just, hitch slap somebody down, then okay, yeah, I mean, do that. It's not, not necessarily my style, but go for it. But if your goal really is to have good conversation where you can push back and learn from each other and maybe change their mind to a little bit more skeptical view, then yeah, you kind of got to take a little bit of a different approach with that. But what do you think about any of that? Helpful, Michael? Hopefully something.
Yeah, no, I understand. It's just, it's like I think these things are, like, I think, legal religion is a good thing, but then people almost act like you're taking a good thing away from them, like you're taking away their heaven, which is, not what I want, not what I'm trying to do. But I think just like even, sorry, the simple fact of like teaching a child that the Bible is the truth and that like all these things are real, and then they go to school and hear something different, it immediately makes them doubt school. And they don't pay as much attention. And then just leads to a downward spiral of, well, I'm not going to listen to my teacher, and then they fail the test, and then they get angry because they failed the test. So
No, I hear you.
A lot of these things.
I spent a lot of time in a Christian school, and we would like go on field trips to, Natural Bridge Caverns, a large cave system in the area. And the tour guides would be telling us about how over the course of millions of years, these different formations would come together, and at various times this was covered by water. And our teachers are like, putting their hands over our ears and giving us a lecture about how none of this is true. It does isolate people in a lot of ways. So I definitely recognize the problem, and without having spent a lot of time in the Midwest, I guess I have to say I always thought of Michigan as a safer space than Texas or Tennessee, but recent events make me feel a little unsure about that.
Yeah, for sure. And that's just something I think we're seeing across the whole country, which is really a bummer, which I get why you're in this kind of space of feeling a bit more marginalized and stuff. I think there are a lot of people, for sure, that we try to ally with and stand in support with, that feel like that. But yeah, give us some of your thoughts, Michael.
Yeah, I mean, I think I covered it. It's just you touched on it a little bit, but I basically live in a rural area where there's not a lot of I found the secular humanism organization, and I looked into that a little bit just to see if there's a group, and like the closest group that's affiliated is 2 hours away from me, and then in my small area is like there's essentially nothing. I'm going to try a group of humanists that meet currently at our local library, but I don't know how doesn't seem like they're very active. Their Facebook group is not very big. So just, but I drive down the highway and I see a bunch of, billboards about, abortion is a killing and stuff like that. There's all these kind of Christian messages and churches everywhere. And it's just a hard system to fight in a small town.
Well, and let me just validate that stress, right? Like that experience of constantly having your worldview challenged, of constantly being given information that doesn't really line up with reality. I mean, you can drive by a billboard and think, okay, that's bullshit. And then you drive by another one, you think, okay, that's frustrating. And then you just see them again and again and again. And I guess I just want to say to you, Michael, and to anybody listening, it's okay if that bothers you, right? Like, I'm not telling everybody that we should ruminate on it and we should let our anger control us, but I think it's really easy to just sort of dismiss that out of hand as, well, that's just the way the world is. And that is sort of an invisible stressor that you are carrying with you into countless interactions. And it's going to have a little bit of an effect, and we don't need to deny that or diminish that effect. So without meaning to tell you about yourself, Michael, I guess I'm hearing a little bit of maybe loneliness or just a need for validation and community. And if that's what you're looking for rather than like outright activism, often, of course, the two do go hand in hand together, but they don't have to. You know, if you're looking for people who understand how you feel and where you're coming from, there are a lot of different directions to go, and I hope that you wouldn't limit yourself to, I need to be part of an atheist organization. If you can, if you want to be, please do. It's great. I've been doing it for years. But I don't want you to think that that's the only way to get your needs met here.
That's a good point, Christy.
No, I know. I don't think it comes from a place of loneliness. I think it comes from a place of just care. I mean, I even think that, like, the ideals of Christianity of telling your kid that they're a sinner and they need to be sorry for who they are and that they're, bad inherently, and they need to ask somebody for forgiveness for things that they can't control is just a negative way to have a mindset. And there's people teaching their kids with hellfire and brimstone, and if they don't believe everything that they tell them, that they're going to hell, so they just it starts a cycle where you set them up with a negative mindset, and they think they're less than because they're told they're less than. They're less than a being that there's no proof that even exists.
Yeah.
So you're pitting them to automatically think they're less than, and that they're sinners and that they're inherently bad and there's nothing they can do about it. Their only hope is to believe every word of this book and pray that Jesus decides to have good favor on you and bring you into heaven. So
yeah, we've got.
I think it sets up a negative mindset.
We definitely as non-believers, atheists, agnostics, skeptics, secular humanists, we definitely have reasons to be stressed out and angry. And that sucks, right? I mean, that just sucks that's always out there. And just kind of like Christy was saying a second ago, sometimes one of the most helpful things, for me at least, has just been being able to be in a space where I know I won't have to deal with that because the other people around me are also in that space, right, of being non-religious, atheist, whatever label, right, free thinker, whatever. And that alone can be really therapeutic. Just being able to sit around with some buddies and, joke about the emissions like donkeys verse in the Bible, or the breasts like fawn. Like, why would you say that about some tits? That doesn't make sense to me. I've never associated the two, but we get together, we can laugh about it for a few minutes and give us a little bit of a break. That is just really, really helpful. And again, that's one of the greatest things about, being in this community that, for the time that I have. I've just gotten to know a bunch of people and have friends that can hit me up every so often and just be like, hey, SR, what you been up to, man? Everything good? And it's like, no, this week sucked.
Yeah.
This week was shit.
Some
man.
do, yeah.
So, but give us some final thoughts on that, Michael. Let us hear what you think, and we'll move on and maybe get some proof of God. I don't know.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, and like I said, I don't think I have plenty of friends, of course. It's just, you see people have no issue putting a Bible verse about the positive aspects of God, but nobody will put like a Bible verse like from Exodus of saying, God was about to kill Moses until somebody cut their foreskin off and rubbed it on his feet and God changed his mind. But that's directly from the Bible. But I feel like if you put that on as my Facebook status, I would get attacked, where anybody can just put a positive Bible verse up and not get attacked. Yeah. But really, we're doing the same exact thing.
Right.
Not wrong.
Michael, thank you so much for giving us a call today, man. We hope that we hope that you hang out with us some more in the future. And if you find some good ways to get involved in stuff, please give us a shout. Email us, post it in the comments, or just give us a call again. So, because we always love to hear updates on that, man. We can always find new ways to do better activism and better allyship, I think. So.
Yeah, and it's important because the world needs it, right? Like, we can acknowledge that piece of things, but I honestly believe it's good for me. Like, I do this out of altruism and a desire to make the world a better place, but I also do it because I need somewhere to put all of these feelings.
Right.
There's real value in being able to watch the news and go, oh wait, I'm doing my part. I'm offering whatever I can offer and can sleep a little bit better at night because of it.
That's right, folks. You heard it here first. Christy Powell, selfish bastard. I gotta say, I have never been more happy than being to help out here and do all these shows. So yeah, I guess I'm in that boat with you, man. That's all right. Well,